Cardinals lambasted the Dallas Cowboys, and Jacoby Brisett, is he maybe potentially the new this is Brisket. We call him the Briskinator. Is Briskinator the new Danny Dimes? Is he the new Indiana Jones? It's really going to be something to talk about walking into week number 10 and beyond. Cardinals might have found their quarterback. MHJ is back when he has somebody that can throw him the football. 796, a touchdown. McBride catching a touchdown, 3 for 55 in a score. Brisett, the Briskinator, moves the football down the field. And the Cardinals are maybe not a smart enough organization to see this for what it is. That Kyler Murray is a hindrance to this organization. I never wanted Kyler Murray to be signed to an extension to begin with. I did live stream after live stream on it. And while I've tried to get behind it as a Cardinal fan, I've tried to figure out a way to get excited about maybe what Kyler Murray's learned. Kyler Murray needs to be moved on from before the trade deadline. If he can get traded and pass a physical. I don't think the Cardinals are smart enough to do that. I don't even know if his dead cap, we'll look into his dead cap. But Brisket, the Briskinator, the Brisket, he's the guy. And do we have a Danny Dimes 2.0? A revival or a revitalization of a forgotten man? And now he's 32 years old, I believe. There's a lot of upside here. He looks like a quarterback. He throws like a quarterback. He navigates the offense like a quarterback. And then, of course, we got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys situation, the Fantasy Football Show wrap-up, reaction, recap, Monday Night Football. Cowboys get lambasted by the Cardinals show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live.
I'm a Cardinal, hey, I'm a Cardinal. 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 The Cardinals look to be rising, and MHJ is your king. I'm a Cardinal.
We might just be looking at a player that's been hindered, hampered, held down by Kyler Murray. I mean, it's not like we didn't feel like this was really a possibility, but now we're watching the Brisket. The Briskinator might be the new Indiana Jones 2.0. I don't want to say Baker. I don't want to say Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold looked really good. There's a theme going on in the NFL where Sam Darnold, the Brisket, the Dr. Jones, Baker touchdown maker are better than JD5, better than quarterbacks drafted high in the top 5 and 10 overall. And if I am ahead of this organization, the Arizona Cardinals, and I must tell you, I live really close to the headquarters, I would march in tomorrow morning and cook up a Kyler Murray trade. Now, let's see what the dead cap is. I cannot promise that Kruger is going to find this information properly. So, Travis, I don't know if you can cook up and try and find the accurate information on this, because Krug might be mistaken. Hey, Kruger, what is Kyler Murray's dead cap amount if he was cut or traded, specifically traded tomorrow? The trade deadline is Tuesday. If Kyler Murray's traded, well, actually tomorrow's Tuesday. If Kyler Murray's traded tonight at midnight, what is the dead cap that the Cardinals have to take on if they trade Kyler Murray on his current deal? And again, we're talking about October 3rd, 2025 at midnight.
All right. Smitty, so if the Cardinals were to trade Kyler Murray literally tonight, they'd be looking at about a 17.9 million dead cap hit. That also means they'd actually save roughly 35 million on the cap. So those are the numbers we're looking at right now.
Yeah, Kruger, that's fantastic news. Have you heard the good news about the brisket?
Oh, absolutely, Smitty. The brisket news is always fantastic news. It's like a little celebration on its own. And hey, if we're talking brisket and football deals,
No. The Briskinator is what we call Brisett, the quarterback for the Cardinals right now. That's replacing injured Kyler Murray, and he blew up and he had a good day. And we're hoping they trade Kyler Murray away. Kruger, without any fluff, name 2 teams that Kyler Murray could get traded to tomorrow morning.
Got it. No fluff at all. If we're looking at a couple of teams that could pick up Kyler Murray first thing tomorrow, I'd say watch out for the Falcons and the Patriots. Both in the mix for a quarterback.
Kruger, I don't think I'm not worried about you replacing me anytime soon. I love you, Krug. Drop a deuce, okay?
You got it, Smitty. And hey, you make me spaceman every time. And drop a juice on that like button, folks. Stay loose, stay flowing. And we'll catch you next time.
Man, probably replace Penix Jr. or Drake May. It makes the most sense according to Kruger. All right, I don't think he's replacing me anytime soon. Man, the Cardinals aren't smart enough to trade Kyler Murray. They're just not. And what did I tell you guys about this rushing attack? Bam Knight, Smitty. According to Ganon, Bam Knight's going to be the starter. What did I tell you? Don't trust the Cardinals with the running attack. Don't do it. Don't put your fantasy week on the line, your fantasy championship on the line, your playoff hopes on the line. This Cardinal organization doesn't know what it's doing. They don't know what they're doing. I don't even feel all that great right now. I don't. Because I don't, as a Cardinal fan, as an Arizona resident, as somebody that's been here my entire life, I don't have any sort of hope that the Cardinals know how to navigate this. I don't. I think that they'll look at Kyler Murray and go, yeah, we'll put him back out there. I think they have no clue. And for anybody that's thinking that there's some sort of DeMarcado value here, there's not. Just like there's no Bam Knight value, just like there's no Carter value. The only value we have, and I can't even guarantee this, would be on the wall. You can see the man Benson, week 9 bye. He carries over as a potential week 10 bye for sure. But this is the Arizona Cardinals. We can't even guarantee that. We can't even guarantee they know how good Benson is like we know how good Benson is. I love Benson. I love Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson, if he's in there starting for the Cardinals, who run the ball pretty well, always kind of have run the ball well. Look at Dortch, 1 carry, 9 yards. Bam Knight's not that good. DeMarcado is actually really good. He just makes bad decisions, fumbles the ball, but 5.5 yards per carry. DeMarcado, 1 for -1. Don't worry about that. This is a team that can run the ball pretty well, but do they make good decisions? I don't think they realize what this... Look at 10 targets for MHJ. That has been the problem. His father knows it. His father has spoken out on it. Just like we're hearing about Rome Odunze and you know, his father and people calling for Rome Odunze to get traded. Trade to a team that will actually throw to him. Ben Johnson's not trading him. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Don't get excited. Don't think, oh, I could get Rome Odunze to go to New England. Rome ain't going anywhere. It's just the mere fact that we have the elders coming out and speaking out on behalf of the youngins, saying, get them the damn ball. Throw Rome Odunze the ball. Caleb, let me introduce you to Rome Odunze. He actually could be a top 10 wide receiver. Rome Odunze is as good as any wide receiver in the league not named CD, all the top like 5, 6, 7 guys. I don't need to go through them all. Puka, all those guys. They're all better than Rome. But once we start getting into the 8, 9, 10 range, Rome's as good as any one of them. But Caleb doesn't know he exists. He doesn't know. He has no idea Rome Odunze exists. Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray has said things before like, yeah, I throw. Sometimes he's in the game plan to throw to. Sometimes he's not, which is head scratching to me Because guess what Brisett would do? Brisett would throw to the open man. Brisett would check down. Brisett would say, I don't know. If you ask Brisett, hey, Brisett, who are you throwing the ball to on this play? You know what he would tell you? I don't know. I don't know. The play hasn't developed yet. The play has not developed yet. I could throw to Kyler. I could throw over to Dortch. I might check down to the RB. I might hit McBride across the middle on a drag. I don't know. The play hasn't happened yet. What do I look like, a mind reader? Do I look like I got a flux capacitor baked into my helmet? I don't know who I'm throwing the ball to. You ask Kyler Murray, are you throwing the ball to MHJ? No, he's not in the game plan. Kyler Murray, are you being told where to throw, when to throw, how to throw? Does Kyler Murray really know who he's throwing the ball to every play? Because when he answers the question, sometimes MHJ's in the game plan, sometimes he's not. Sometimes the coaches have me throwing to him, sometimes they don't. Nobody questions this comment when Kyler Murray made it. Nobody. I don't hear a single person saying, why did Kyler Murray say that? Why did Kyler Murray say, sometimes the coaches have me throw to him, sometimes they don't? How in the world has no one covered that? I've covered it. How in the world does a quarterback say that? Because you don't know who you're throwing to. You're looking all over the field. You've got a process. You've got a tree that you go through. You go through your progressions and you say, boom, no, check down. You've got a process you go through. Kyler Murray apparently doesn't. Either that or he doesn't know how to convey it. And if he's not conveying it, he's bad on that front. He doesn't know how to communicate. He shouldn't be our quarterback. This guy, MHJ, all of a sudden gets handed the Briskinator, and the Brisket goes out there, throws for 2 touchdowns, 261. 1 rushing touchdown. I'm excited. But then I remember, it's the Arizona Cardinals. Then I remember, the Cardinals don't know what they're doing. Yeah, I'm excited about the man we've got on the board here. Benson, good buy, low target. Certainly. Then I remember, it's the Cardinals. They don't know what they're doing. Oh, but Brisett, surely, the Briskinator surely got the job, right? He earned the job, right? It's the Cardinals. They're paying Kyler Murray a bunch of money. They're the Cardinals. I don't know. Is there a chance that they turn to Brisket and they say, look, Kyler needs more time to stay healthy? That would be the smart play. If you don't have the cojones to follow this through and go, look, tough decisions need to be made, we're going to go ahead and go with Jacoby Brisett, the Briskinator. We're going with Jacoby, not Kyler. If they don't have the cojones or the backbone to make that decision, they need to be weak and crepid, crumble, embarrassed, non-confident owners and suits and say, Kyler needs more time to rest. We don't have the courage to tell anybody, so we're just going to blame it on injury. Kyler, you need more time to rest, and let's try and delay this as long as possible. Or you make a tough decision, and you say, Kyler's not it. It doesn't matter if he's got talent. You trade him away. I know a lot of organizations that might take Kyler Murray right now. I do. I don't know that he'll succeed there. I don't know that he won't. But I know that he won't succeed in Arizona. And I certainly know that this coaching staff has problems. And they may have won a game today, and everybody thinks everything's glorious in Arizona. Oh, they got to be excited. You won a game. I don't think so. Galaxy says, Smitty, I'll never not listen to you again. What did you do, Galaxy? First of all, Galaxy, I don't know if you saw me. I sent you to the moon the other day because I accidentally read what... And I did this with Zach earlier. Zach, if you're out there, I'm sorry to you too. Sometimes I'll read the messages wrong because I'm going 100 miles an hour. And I made Galaxy take a lap. He was answering somebody's question, and I thought he was asking a dumb question, and he wasn't. But apparently he did do something. So, Galaxy, what is it that you ended up messing up? Guys, let's go over the game real quickly, and then we'll move on from there. Vidal, a must drop. No, Santos. This is what we call overreacting Oscars. No one's saying that you can trust Vidal with a lot of confidence, but it's when you come in and say Vidal is a must drop. I'm I'm sending Harvey to the bench, or I'm cutting Harvey tomorrow morning when Harvey's struggling. Now look at Harvey. I'm cutting Kyler. I'm trading Kyler. Or I'm sorry, MHJ because of Kyler. And then now look at MHJ. Like, you got to relax a little bit, Santos, before you start dropping Vidal, who could still do something. But Dan Marcado, 79 yards. Briskinator, 2 touchdowns passing, 261, adding a rushing touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr., 7 for 96 and 1 tutty. McBride, 5 for 55 and 1 touchdown. Could have used more work. Michael Wilson, 3 catches, 61 yards. Bam Knight, 2 catches for 20 yards, but he was 9 for 27. He was not good in this game running the ball. DeMarcado did look effective and shifty like he always has. He broke up that long, 70-yard touchdown run and then dropped the ball at the 1-yard line. He still can look good, but he's no starter, no elite player, but a decent fill-in right now. He's kind of like a Rashad White. You could definitely use him if he just hold on to the ball, and the Cardinals, were able to use him longer. But Trey Benson should be back. Dallas Cowboys are really the storyline. We haven't even talked about the Dallas Cowboys yet. This disappointing team that's loaded with talent that has probably the worst and most incompetent owner in football. He's the most competent owner and combo GM in football. And he makes these excuses instead of taking blame and deciding that, he needs to do something different, hand down the decision-making responsibilities to somebody that knows what's going on. He clearly doesn't. He dismantles the defense, and the defense sucks. And then the offense is, in turn, suffering because the defense sucks. And now Dak Prescott's suffering. And who knows what happens with Dak? Who knows if Joe Milton makes an appearance here in the next couple of weeks? Who knows if Dak tries to do too much? This is when players get hurt. This is when quarterbacks get injured. And let me give you case in point. This is when quarterbacks get injured. Does anybody think it's a coincidence that when you're down by a tremendous amount of points in the fourth quarter and you're trying to do too much, you end up getting injured? Hence why Quinn and everybody responsible in this situation should be fired. When people are doing things that they don't normally do because they're in a box and they try and put everything on their shoulders, they get injured. Now, Dak, it wouldn't surprise me if Dak ends up getting hurt trying to do too much because his owner and this organization, the Dallas Cowboys, doesn't know how to surround all the other important pieces with other important pieces. It's like going out and getting the best vehicle you could find. Tires, rims, interior, exhaust, a boost, nitro, whatever you can do to get, and then you go out and you go scrimping on the engine. We're going to go scrimping on the engine after we built this marvelous vehicle that can outrace anybody. What does Jerry do? You bring in Pickens. Great move, by the way. Hats off to Jerry for one good move. Maybe he actually sat on his phone wrong and accepted a trade offer that came in, like so many of us has done in a fantasy contest. Look, Pickens was great. You surround Dak with Pickens. You got Lamb. You bring Javonte in. Javonte's fantastic. Some good stuff is going on in Dallas.
I smell meatloaf.
There's some good stuff in Dallas. And then what's he do? He scrimps on the defense. Let's put all the pressure on Dak. Let's make this offense get worn down to a nub. And now you got Dak doing too much. He's going to get hurt. And then it's like, I still think Dak is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league. I'm not saying he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I do know he can throw the damn ball. I do know that. But is he able to do enough to compensate for what this owner has done to the defense? CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 85. This feels very much like JJ without a quarterback. CeeDee Lamb right now feels very much like Jamar Chase without a quarterback before Flacco arrived. And Flacco's doing Flacco things. I'll tell you that right now. Before Flacco arrived, and we had, what's-his-face, Browning, out there looking like a high school quarterback. We had Jamar Chase doing this. 7 for 85. The touchdowns. Struggling to to get 12 targets, 7 receptions. What you want to see is 12 targets, 9 or 10 receptions. 7 receptions, 12 targets tells you that this is a bunch of madness. They're out there throwing sloppy joes all over the field. George Pickens, 9 targets, 6 receptions. Ferguson, 7, 5, 2, 1. Nobody's catching all their passes. No one's remotely catching all their passes. What touchdown we got here for Lamb, for Ferguson, for Pickens? Not one against the Arizona Cardinals, who are a good defense for sure, but they can be exploited. You saw at the end of this game, you can figure out ways to score. If you had a good enough defense, you could slow them down on offense, get good field position, and then score a damn touchdown. I just don't know if we're going to end up seeing Joe Milton in at some point. And you can say it until you're blue in the face, Joe Milton sucks, and maybe Joe Milton comes in and looks awful because he too has got the pressure on him, but at least he'd be a spark, I suppose. And the one thing about Joe Milton is we've never seen Joe Milton throw with Lamb and Pickens. We've seen Joe Milton come in and play with scrubs that run the wrong route, turn too early, and Milton throws to a spot on the field a lot of times. Milton's he's got such a cannon, he will literally throw to places on the field. Places that Pickens and Lamb could go to and get the football. Better than any receivers really in the league. There are no two better jump ball wide receiver. There's no better jump ball wide receiver duo than Lamb and Pickens in the National Football League. This is the best jump ball wide receiver duo in the league. And Joe Milton is probably the best facilitator of such play. And you can laugh all you want about Joe Milton, and he could fail because this thing is a mess. But if he gets in there, I will be there to watch it unfold. I will be there to hope that Milton finally gets to play with very good players and isn't judged for playing with backups that are running the wrong route, and he throws the football and they're like, oh, Joe Milton, another interception. But did you examine everything that went on in that play? I'm not saying that Dak's going to get benched. I'm not saying that at all. I do know that Dak has kind of worn out his welcome, if you will, inside the city, within the fan base, within the organization, especially with Jerry. And at some point, there is going to be a situation where Dak ends up hurting himself, just like JD5 hurt himself, because you're asked to do too much, and then Bo comes in. Or Milton comes in because Jerry makes a call, gets up on the wrong side of the bed and says, make the switch. This is why I get paid the big. He loves to be the guy that makes the decision that everybody looks at and says, wow, that's a great decision. That's what Jerry lives for. Jerry's now trying to hit a home run down by 7 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Dak Prescott, 4 carries, 34 yards, a lot of rushing for the guy. 1 TD, 1 INT, 210. CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 85. Pickens, 6 for 79. They salvaged, given the situation. 5 for 50 for Ferguson. Salvaged, but not amazing. This was not the game that I think a lot of fantasy managers wanted from their players unless you owned MHJ. Or you had to start the Brisett because you had QB woes and you're like, I'll put Brisett in. But now Brisett becomes a very decent ad for people that need an ad. Here's the waiver board. If anybody needs the waiver board, I did a screenshot of this. Don't mind my mug right there. Franklin is on the far left, but we have Dowdle, Gadsden, Monungai, Harvey, Kincaid in that top box in case you play in a grandma league. Just make sure those guys aren't available. Those percentage of the percentage roster next to them is a really high number for those guys. Just make sure they're not available in your league. Once you get below that, you'll see 1A Loveland. It's a little messy. Darnold, Hendy, that's 1A. And I think Flacco probably could be thrown into 1A if you wanted. Stafford, maybe. JJM, I believe, is more 1B. Penix, Dart could be low-end 1A, but high-end 1B. Jamo, Tootin, Benson, Fannin, Horton, Parker Washington, Hunt, DK, Brashard Smith, Downs, Aaron Jones. I'm not reading this side yet. And Franklin and Hunt, as I said. Oh, we did have Hunt. We had Hunt maybe up there. We had Hunt down here. So we have Hunt written twice. But either way, you could put the Briskinator probably near the Parker Washington, Aaron Jones, Fannin, DK, Brashard Smith territory if you needed a quarterback. These players all on the side are a grab bag of players that if I had to say which one's the most valuable, probably would be just from a pure cuff situation would be Bigsby, maybe Corum. You know, just because if they got in, they would be starters. But this is the waiver board if anybody wanted to see that again. And it looks like Ganon's already spoke about Ganon. I mean, look, I know this team. I know this team, but I don't know this team. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I know what this team is capable of doing. And now we've got Ganon already speaking about it and saying that Kyler Murray's their starter. Let's pull this up right here and I'll screenshot it. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. So here's the comment. First of all, wow, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck said that they expect the Cardinals to stick with Jacoby Brisett as their team's starting quarterback. But then this news breaks. This news right here. Head coach Ganon, when asked if Kyler Murray remains the starting QB, he said nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Have I told you or have I told you? This is the Arizona Cardinals. That news broke just now. I've been live for 26 minutes and 47 seconds ranting on this. I already told you what was going to happen before it happened. And now 26 minutes later, we're being told by Ganon, nothing's changed. Our starting quarterback is Kyler Murray because this team is trash. The Arizona Cardinals, my Arizona Cardinals. I'm a Cardinal fan. I live in Arizona. I've been here my whole life. I have a right to call this team trash if I'd like to call them trash. And this team is trash. This team doesn't know what it's doing.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Ganon should be fired. This organization's run by a bunch of non-serious people. The Cardinals are trash. I feel bad for MHJ. I wish MHJ was never drafted to the Cardinals. Who knows how good this kid would be if he landed in a good spot? Who knows how good he'd be? Trey Benson, good luck. McBride, don't know if we'll ever get the value out of McBride that we want, at least consistency-wise, because guess what? Ganon said nothing's changed, just like I predicted he would. This is the Arizona Cardinals. It's a laughing stock. It's a joke. Husseini, with the good news, Husseini said we did it. We're 3-6. Unbelievable, Husseini.
You've just been Smitty.
Mashed potatoes!
Husseini, I'm proud of you, bro. Smitty, we did it 3-6 now. I was 1-6 just 2 weeks ago. It was a nail biter, but I won by exactly 3 points. Was playing against Pickens. He was held to 14 points. Playing 7-2 guy next, and he's number 2 in the league. Another tough one. Thank you, Husseini. Appreciate you dropping the $20 hauler, you monster. And congrats on the win. I knew we'd get you there. Need to trade away Kyler Murray. They need to trade away Kyler Murray. Who wants him? I don't know. Ganon said nothing's changed, so Ganon apparently doesn't think they need to trade him away. Got offered Gibbs and Addison and Loveland from my Bowers, Vidal, and Hampton. I would say give me Gibbs and Addison and Loveland and run. Like, I mean, that's the easiest question I've been asked probably all week. Absolutely. Trade Kelsey for Waddle. I would take Waddle if I need a wide receiver. It seems like you do, so I would definitely take that. JMO, RJ, Jennings on waivers have one spot. You're going to probably have to pick up RJ, my boy. I don't trust you on Jennings, but pick up RJ Harvey. I like JMO a lot. I'd probably try and find room for him. Pickens, my Pickens plus Tucker for Rome and BTJ. I'd probably say Pickens because he still played good on the year. But that's a close call. It depends. Rome's being abused. Pickens is being abused. It's crazy. Trade Kyren and Diggs for Ladd and Harvey. I would say Kyren. You can't buy Harvey that high. Hold Olave until after the trade deadline or trade him away now for Judkins. Nick, let me rephrase that. Easiest question I was asked all week. You now are the easiest question I've been asked all week. Why on earth would you pass up on a top, maybe 15 overall player in Judkins for a guy like Chris Olave, who we like, but bro, this is a wide receiver, a high-end wide receiver 3 at best. Nick, there's no, if he gets traded to the most golden of situations, he's not getting you Judkins straight up in a trade. You better pull the trigger on this before I come in and take over your team and do it for you. Thoughts on Odunze going forward? I don't know. Just like the Cardinals, you don't really know what the Bears are going to do. And the fact that the Bears are winning and it's enabling, I don't know that they feel like they're doing anything wrong. And they got away with, they were so lucky in that game. Either team that won would have got lucky, but man, Caleb gets lucky. He gets so lucky, gets bailed out by his defense. He gets bailed out by bad tackling. And it just looks like Caleb is doing so well when he's doing good. He's running Ben Johnson's system, and that's good for him. And you can't separate that. But man, Odunze is just getting completely left out of the picture. It's insane. It's insanity. I think he will have some good games though. Should I give up on Vidal and Benson for ETN? I would take ETN for sure. But it doesn't mean Vidal won't do well. Now in PPR, Gibbs and Tet for London, Kyren, and Swift. I'd rather have probably London, Kyren, and Swift. But I don't know. That's tough. I love Gibbs. I still think Gibbs is going to be a monster. You know what? Give me Tet and Gibbs, actually. Chat, can we vote on this one? Gibbs and Tet or London, Kyren, Swift? We've got to remember that next week when Gibbs has... in Gibbs' next contest, he will have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then what will people say? Right now, it's easy to be like, oh, London, and I love London, but give me the Gibbs side. I still believe in the Gibbs side, but I think most people will say London because they're going to live in the moment. Dak is not good. Why was the focus less on Lamb and more on treat Pickens like he's Justin Jefferson? I don't really know, Tyler. I don't think that's what they really did. I mean, Lamb did get focused on. He was the leading receiver. I got Knicks plus Judkins and Rome for Hurts, Dobbins, RJ, Woody, Manungai, W. Knicks, Judkins, Rome for Hurts, Dobbins. I think it's pretty arguable, bro. I mean, Manungai's a valuable piece right now. RJ Harvey's going up in value. Hurts is probably a little more valuable in fantasy than Judkins. The Knicks, but Judkins I like more than pretty much everybody on that side that's a non-quarterback. Kind of an even Steven trade. I'd probably take Judkins and Rome personally because I do believe in Rome. I still believe in Rome. I don't know that I believe in his situation, but I believe in Rome. So I would take that side. Appreciate your super chat. Thank you, Tyler, for your super chat. Brian with a super says, Patty, Dart, AJB, Ferguson, Javonte, and Ferguson on a buy. Need a running back. Trade DK for K9. Not enough. K9 doesn't get enough focalized work, bro. I don't think I would. I'd try and go after a different running back. Try and go after Genty. Try and go after ETN. Try and go after... It's too late to get Dowdle. Try and give up a little more and get Jacobs. Try and give up something to go get potentially Kyren. I mean, people are giving away running backs right now that they shouldn't be getting rid of. Javonte. All those players seem a little bit more attainable. Worst injury year ever, bro. Ever. I've done this for 2 decades plus, ever. My man just got offered Kyren and Higgins for Gibbs. Gibbs, not a question. I'm sorry. I like the other side a lot, but Gibbs. Rank these tight ends rest of season. Theo Johnson, Loveland, likely. Loveland, tier break. Theo and likely kind of some sort of like rotational matchup, situational. Trade my Hall, Gadsden, Darnold to get Devontae and Chase Brown. Hall, Gadsden, Darnold for Devontae. Would swap Gadsden for Tet if needed. So, yeah, if you can get rid of Tet instead of Gadsden, I like it a lot more. But I still would probably take Chase Brown and Devontae. But, yeah, throw Tet in, and I really like it. Would have Hurts. Yeah, that's a great trade. Appreciate your super chat. I have Josh Allen, Rico, Bijan, Rice, Diggs, Bowers, Washington. I'm 3-6 with a 38% chance to make an 18 playoff. Any advice? Don't trade Josh Allen. Don't trade Rico. Don't trade Bijan. Don't trade Rice. Don't trade Bowers. Trade Gadsden and K9. Gadsden and Diggs. K9 and Diggs. K9 Worthy, Diggs, Gadsden. All those guys. Go get JJ cheap. Go get Buka cheap. Go get CeeDee Lamb cheap right now. Go get potentially even Pickens. Go get Genty, Judkins, Barkley. All those guys using combos of those 4 players. That's probably the easiest dilemma I've seen because it's so easy. You got so many players to move. You'll be able to get something done with those players I just named. Someone offering me Garrett Wilson for MHJ. I don't know. Like, I'm a little excited about MHJ right now, but I'm not taking MHJ over Garrett Wilson. So give me Garrett Wilson. But I am more excited about MHJ. I'm glad we can kind of like think for a second instead of being like, oh, do that, you know. But Brisett might not. I mean, you just heard from Ganon. You just heard it. And let me put it up here. Ganon. Nothing has changed when talking about Kyler versus Brisett. This is just the Cardinals. This is the Cardinals. It is head-scratchingly insane. Nothing has changed when talking about Kyler versus Brisett. The Arizona Cardinals, this is why they're a joke of an organization. And will continue to be a joke of an organization. This is why the Cardinals have no championships. It's why the Suns have no championships. Arizona can't be taken seriously because they don't know how to close. They don't know how to run things. They don't know how to just push it over the edge at all. At all. With this particular question, 10-man team, QB, Bijan, Bucky, Chase Brown, Walker, Buka, Pickens, DK. I'm probably trying to trade DK, Diggs, and Walker. DK, Diggs, Walker for one player. Maybe Bucky into Judkins, and then maybe you give Walker to them for turning Diggs into a really solid, underrated JJ, Buka, something like that. Nico Collins. DK and Diggs for Nico. DK and Diggs for JJ. DK and Diggs for Buka. Walker and DK for Barkley. For Judkins and something for Henry. Nico and Brees for Javonte and Keenan Allen. No, thank you. Not even close. Traded Buka and JK for Lamb. Nico, or where is it? Hold on. Traded Buka and JK for Lamb. I'd probably still rather have Lamb. I know some are going to be really upset at Lamb right now, but I love both of them, but I still probably rather have Lamb. Rank them in order: Dobbs, Parker, Washington, Horton. I don't know. Probably Dobbs for safety. Parker, Washington's a little more volatile, but has a little more upside. And Horton's probably, I'll probably say this. Horton for high risk, high reward, number 1. Number 3, because he's a rookie and he can go up and down. Like if he gets 20 yards the next week, everyone's going to just never start him the next week. So he's a rookie. He's going to be volatile. I love Horton, though. He's a midseason monster for a reason. We put him on the midseason monster board. That's how much we liked him. But I'd say Dobbs is probably your most consistent. Parker, Washington, a little bit higher risk but higher reward than Dobbs. But Dobbs is steady. He's like the number 1 in Green Bay, really. So if you want steady Eddie, probably Dobbs. But you're swinging big with the potential for 2 or 3 points instead of 10 to 12 consistently, 8 to 12 out of Dobbs every week. So it's kind of a tough call, Husseini. It's very, very close, though. Pros and cons, like everything. But Dobbs will give you consistency. Garrett Wilson and Bijan for Barkley and Brees. Give me Garrett Wilson and Bijan by a country mile. It doesn't even matter who you have. Like, even if it put you in a bind, you make another trade. Man. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Unbelievable. Cardinals are just it's crazy, man, how bad an organization can be. And you look at a guy like Kyler, and he's too small for the position. He can't see over the offensive line. Let me put one of those emojis where, you know, you're shaking your head. Shaking my head. SMH. And I'll put that right by here. There we go. 417, you're live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, Smitty, this is Ricky.
What's
calling
up?
From Missouri.
Yo, Ricky, what's up, my boy?
Yo, what's up, bro? Smitty, I'm just calling because I had a question on how do you rank Baker and Herbert rest of season given the alt injury?
Okay, Baker and Herbert rest of season. I would probably say this. Baker has been great. He was great all last year. He's been great for a majority of this year. They've had the bye week. He's well rested, so there's like one pro. Buka. We still got Buka. He's got Bucky coming back. We think at some point, if hopefully this coming week, but we're not hearing anything about it. But Bucky will be coming back. Their offensive line has been getting healthier. I still think that the wide receiver woes have been part of why Baker struggled, but at the same time, we saw him do well when he had, no Godwin and Evans got hurt. So I'm not that worried about that part. Herbert has been running for his life, and the whole team looks bad, and they get totally phased out. Herbert has tons of mistakes. He doesn't put the football where he needs to put it. Not that Baker was recently, but I just think Baker is a much better chance of getting back to normalcy, whereas because he's been doing it with some bad situations and injuries, whereas Herb seems to be collapsing if things aren't perfect, and I don't see that improving. So I'm going to definitely say Baker for me. Anything's possible. Herbert's still a great quarterback, but Baker should get back into the kitchen and start baking again. I truly believe he will be fine. He's one of the better buy lows. In fact, I'll put him on the board right now. For people that need to buy a quarterback, we'll put Baker on here. Baker's one of the better buy low QBs entering week 10 if you need a quarterback. Anything else?
I think that's it, Smitty.
Hey, call back if you got another one.
All right, appreciate you.
Later. All right, 305, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty, it's Spiffy. How's it going?
What's up, Spiffy? What can I do for you? What problem did you create for yourself today?
Well, I came into the issue that Tucker Kraft tore his ACL. I might be in a bind with that, but I do have TJ Hawkinson as a backup tight end. But I don't know if I'm too confident in him compared to the.
All right, what can I do for you?
Do you think should I pick up, I don't know, like a Jonnu Smith over TJ Hawkinson? Like, how do you view his situation?
I don't know. Hawkinson's so sporadic and let me look at something real quick. Jonnu's going to be sporadic too, because he's not only he's sharing the role and he's been super inconsistent, but Hawkinson's had 3 targets in back-to-back games, 2 receptions in back-to-back games, 26 yards in one of them, 11 yards in the other. But he did have a touchdown last week, which is kind of promising. The other thing I'll say is he's got this Baltimore matchup in week 10, which is bad against tight end play. But then it opens up and he's got 4 straight golden matchups. He's got Chicago, Green Bay, Seattle, Washington. But then Dallas, who on paper is kind of tough against tight ends, but it's not. So you got 5 matchups in a row. Oh, wait, Giants, 6 matchups in a row. So I'm going to say Hawkinson. Pretty much, in my opinion, greenlit from week 11 on. Week 10's tough, but week 11 on, it's golden for him. Hawkinson.
Right. Do you think, have you had your eye out on Barner from Seattle?
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. I'm okay if you pick him up. I mean, they use him like in the tush push formations, and he had a touchdown on the ground last week. He's had a 2 touchdown game this year. He has a total of 4 receiving touchdowns. Can be low in the target in terms of targets and shares with Arroyo, but I do like him. He's not bad. I think you could pick him up as well.
Right. I got this trade cooked up. I'll just spit it out, see if you think it's a good one. I was thinking about trading away T.J. Hawkinson and Wan'Dale Robinson for Travis Kelce.
Hawkinson and Wan'Dale for Kelce, I'd do that. Sure.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey's been playing pretty well. He could fall off though. I mean, just know that he's capable of. I think with. I mean, you got a bye week here, but you could throw in Barner. You could pick up Barner. Start Barner.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah, do that. I like that.
All right, Smitty. I appreciate it.
Later, bro. All right, let me get back over here and answer these super chats that have come in here. We got Michael. Michael, I'm going to set yours right here on Kyler's face. I'm tired of looking at it. Smitty just beat a top team to continue the comeback. Got an offer on my Chase Brown for Lad. Rest of the team is Nick's, Caleb, Rico, Hendy, Sharps, Monungai, Hampton, JJ, BTJ, JMO. So you need a wide receiver, I assume, right? You got JJ. I don't know. I mean, JJ and JMO, you got Bowers. I like it. I don't know. My Chase Brown, you're not in you're more of need at running back than you are wide receiver. So no, don't trade Chase Brown for Lad. I like Lad a lot, but keep Chase Brown, especially given he's your number 2 running back. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Congrats though on the victory. Full PPR 14-man, 4 and 5. Bowers, Caleb, Saquon, Chase Brown, Hendy, Sharps, London, Olave, Scary Terry, JMO, Wan'Dale, trying to move Olave plus for a Dunze. I like that. Don't want Terry. Yeah, I'd trade Terry. Look, Terry could come back and do something if, let's say, JD5 returns in 5-6 weeks and it helps you in the final push, playoffs or something. It's possible Terry has a good 2 or 3 games at the end of the year or something like that. But right now, we don't even know if he's coming back at all. We really don't know. He's out pretty much for this coming week. He's already been ruled out for this week. That's very bad. So would I throw Terry in there? I'd go get a Dunze. I like this move a lot. I Smitty approve this move. Go get a Dunze. Don't mind throwing Scary Terry in, to be honest. Back, man, I did Gibbs and Diggs for Kyron and Amon-Ra instead. Gibbs and Diggs for Kyron and Amon-Ra. I'm fine with that. That's a great trade. Nice job, Michael. I like that. That's a real good move. I mean, you could argue Gibbs over St. Brown for sure, in my opinion, but someone could argue if they wanted St. Brown over Gibbs. I wouldn't. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy to judge Gibbs and Bijan and Lamb right now to the extreme. I think that's going above and beyond. Remember that players have bad games. It happens to everybody. JT didn't exactly explode. CMC did amazing this week, and CMC had a bad game the week prior. It happens. Every player, the elite of the elite, are going to have bad games. So I'm not discounting Gibbs at all. I'm buying the discount. It's crazy that Gibbs is even discounted at all right now, to be honest with you. Caller, mute yourself. I'll be right with you, okay? And this super chat here from Ross, $20 hauler for my boy Ross, doing it live.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Ross says Herbert, Jones, Bijan, Chase Brown. I like it. Garrett Wilson, Horton, Ladd, Goddard. You got the whole thing mixed up in a blender though. Hard to judge a team, Ross, when it's not even ordered right, because your mind goes somewhere. You know what I mean? But Garrett Wilson, I love that you got him back. Goddard, Kincaid. Kincaid's your starter. Trade Goddard away if you can. Lost Evans and Hampton this year. Waivers are thin. Washington and Murray moves to make. Maybe just trade one of your tight ends. Honestly, I'd trade whichever one got me the most return, because beggars can't be choosers. And maybe you could turn in like a Ladd or a Chase Brown into a bigger player. If you could turn Chase Brown into Barkley or Henry or something along those lines, Achane using Chase Brown and the tight end, especially Kincaid. He's got so much pull right now. I would look to do that. Kincaid and Ladd for a Collins, for Nico Collins, for a JJ. Those are doable for Buka. Those are all doable things. All right, 405, you're live as quickly as you can. I can't do a full team breakdown. I got too many questions and super chats I got to get through.
Oh, hey, Smitty. First-time caller. Love your channel.
Thank you, pal.
I got offered my Emeka Buka and Breece Hall for Jalen Hurts and Ted Johnson.
Okay, Buka and what? Say it one more time.
Breece Hall.
Buka and Hall.
Yeah.
Four.
Jalen Hurts and Ted Johnson.
Ted Johnson. Who the hell is Ted Johnson?
Ted. My bad.
Who? Pam? Pan? Who?
No, Ted from Buccaneers, wide receiver. I'm sorry.
No. Tez. Gotcha. Like, who the hell's Ted Johnson?
I think I'm giving up too much. Am I?
Yeah. Well, on paper, yeah. But who's your quarterback? This is a 1 QB or a 2 QB, you said?
1.
1 QB. Who's your QB?
I have Caleb Williams.
Okay. So, basically, you have Caleb on this side. You upgrade to Hurts, but, bro, you get crushed. Absolutely not. Think of it this way, bro. In a 1 QB, where are you drafting Jalen Hurts? I don't care how good he's playing right now or not playing or whatever. Where are you drafting him? 4th round? That's where his ADP kind of lives. 4th round.
Right.
Very few QBs go in round 3. And it probably wouldn't be one of them because you have Josh Allen. So 4th round value. Where's Buka going if getting drafted today? We're starting over. Probably top 12.
Redraft. 3rd round, easy.
3rd. It probably goes in the top 12 to 15, bro.
Well, yeah. Well,
where's Breece Hall go? Probably where Hurts goes. They're probably equals. So you're getting blasted on this trade, bro. Blasted.
Okay. Well, I would be at a 6-3 record, and this guy's at like 2-7.
Doesn't matter. None of that is relevant to this question or conversation. Like records, none of that matters. Like, you don't do a bad trade because you have a bad record, you know.
Okay.
If I were to trade, let's say Buka, you can't even trade Buka high right now. I don't think I'd trade Buka. People are doubting Buka. If you were to trade Hall, why don't you try going and see, like, if the Nico owner has Baker and they don't want to, start him anymore. Go see if the Baker owner had a wide receiver, that was struggling or that is struggling that you like a lot. A wide receiver that kind of comes to mind, I'd say, in this particular situation would be a Dunze. So if someone had a quarter, but you also have I always write a Dunze's name without the N when I'm talking. I can't say a Dunze and write it.
Yeah.
Anybody try it? I never can do it. Every single time I'm always misspelling it. But you have like Caleb. I don't love Caleb, but he is playing well enough that you got to make sure you're doing a really, really good trade.
Right. Because I watched the channel, man, and I know Caleb Williams I think he's just a little bit too high.
Well,
when the season started,
he's getting really lucky too, and I'm not saying that luck won't continue though, because Ben Johnson
he should play Cincinnati.
Yeah, but we're watching Caleb have 3 passing TDs in week number 9, and he had 0 the week prior, 0 the week prior to that. He has 3 passing touchdowns in 3 games. Ben Johnson's been masking all his deficiencies, and people can say what they want about him. Oh, he is him. No, he's not. He's not. He's a mid quarterback and a really good offense. But all right, got to go, bro. But dial something up for Breece Hall. Dial something up for Breece Hall. Dowdle would have been perfect last week. Dowdle and a Baker, you could have easily done something like that. Now that's off the table.
I actually have Dowdle.
Okay, nice. Javonte Williams might be cheap right now. Derrick Henry's going to be cheaper than he should be. So if you're downgrading Hall into one of those guys, let's say Jacobs, is there a quarterback they can give you a quarterback upgrade? All right, got to go, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Smitty.
All right. Travis, hang tight real quickly. Let me get through these super chats, and then I'll be right back for you. This one here from, should I trade A.J. Brown plus Hendy for Breece Hall? I wouldn't. I mean, there's some volatility to Breece Hall's situation as much as there's. Yeah, I mean, as much as we like him right now, you'll hate him next week if he doesn't do anything. And I think Hendy's on the rise, regardless of what people want to say. I don't even understand the Hendy hate right now. He got 14 carries and 4 receptions, and was what is it, 80% of the usage, Travis, or running back touches? Like, what are we doing? Like, are we really writing this guy off because he didn't score a touchdown? I don't understand.
80% of snaps, the whole offense.
Yeah, hopefully there's some good trades that help certain players as rock out. I don't know, man. We're going to be on top of it. If there's ever a night I go back live again, like at midnight, it'd probably be tonight. Trade my Sutton for Rome. That's a tough one. I still like Sutton. He's very undervalued. I'd probably take Rome for the upside, Husseini. He's got the bye week out of the way, which you kind of need. And I don't know. I think he's just a very, very good upside play. It's scary to think that Caleb could continue to ignore him, but he's also a guy that 2-3 weeks ago was a top 10 potential wide receiver going forward for everybody, and now all of a sudden they're writing him off. I still like him a lot, but it's a close call. Sutton's pretty good as well, but Franklin's doing better, and then they're they're running the ball a lot more. They're throwing to the running backs. Harvey's got 5 touchdowns in 3 games. He keeps catching touchdown passes. Lost JD5, picked up Brisett. The brisket is looking good right now, but I don't know if he ever plays again because Ganon's going to put Kyler back in the lineup. Full super flex PPR running back room isn't the best. Have Caleb and Baker at QB. Drop Vidal for him. I wouldn't drop Vidal at all, but I would definitely drop a kicker or a defense, pick up the extra quarterback, and then try and But what are you saying here? You're saying lost 85, picked up Brisett. Do I get Dobbins or keep Brisett? I see what you're. Okay, sorry, I missed that part. I'd rather have Vidal over Dobbins. And Vidal is another player people are knee-jerk reacting aggressively against, like, I'm going to cut him because he didn't do well. And I get it. Look, the offensive line's banged up, and I'm not super excited about Vidal right now, but I'm certainly going to hold him because he's a starting running back. Trade away Judkins and BTJ for Henry. I would rather have I think I'd rather have Judkins over Henry, even though I love them both. So the BTJ side, while it's not a big selling point for me right now, it's just an extra little piece. I would probably lean toward Judkins just because of Judkins, but now you can trade BTJ, I guess, to somebody else. But I don't want BTJ. Trade my Munungai for Henry. Absolutely, Husseini. And if you get that done, we'll quit our jobs and come work for you. That's a near impossible trade to pull off. Let us know if you get it done. We'll celebrate. We'll do a standing ovation if you can pull that off. 10-team PPR 2 flex 3 and 6, lost 2 in a row. QBs Baker, Stafford, Kyren, Dowdle, Judkins. You got your full arsenal back though. Chase Brown. If you can't start all those running backs down to Chase Brown, then maybe we're dealing Chase Brown. Garrett Wilson will be back. MHJ looks better, but with Kyler maybe returning, I would trade MHJ on the high with whatever running back, if you can't keep Chase Brown or can't start Chase Brown, although you got bye weeks and such, but I would definitely send Chase Brown and MHJ for one JJ, for one Nico, and something for one specific player. Those two fit the bill. Nico and JJ, Igbuka, those are all players that you can buy low. I definitely would make that move. Andrews and Henry on waivers. Hunter Henry, okay. I was like, Henry on waivers. You could throw in Addison. You could throw in Flowers. You could throw in Woody. You could throw in Benson if you needed to get a deal done to get one of those big-name wide receivers. All right, Travis, you're live.
Hey, so the Patriots defense through 9 weeks now haven't given up 50 yards to a running back. Is that something, aside from your obvious studs, that you're really going to start taking into consideration? when you're doing matchups. It's like we played Judkins and he didn't hit it, and there's been a couple where it's been like a toss up, like Judkins or Dowdle, and like I got it wrong.
Well,
so is that like something when you see a trend like that, do you start paying more attention to it this far into the season?
I think this is one that's case by case. Is the team capable of making this really good defense so off kilter that it's not going to be the same thing? Like when I said about Denver, like, oh, Denver's going to get shut down by Houston. Don't use Harvey. Don't use. And my thinking there, and I believe it was good thinking, was that that this coach Sean Payton, on top of just kind of a dangerous team that just the rules don't really apply to Denver. They're just kind of, they've got one of the best offensive lines and one of the best defensive lines in football. The rules just don't apply to them. And so if there's like a combination of those things in play, I think you can overlook something. But if the team is like, you're talking about Woody Marks, for example. Oh, we like Woody, but if Woody was going up against the Patriots, then it's like there's limitations to Stroud. I could easily see him being flustered. I could see him being locked down and shut down. So I think it just depends on the team, the overall makeup of the team facing that tough situation. So in the case of the Bucs, for example, if Bucky was in there, you've got Buka, you've got Baker, you got Bucky,
right.
You got Kate Otten. I'm not worried about Bucky at all going up against the Patriots. He'll get 100 total yards one way or another, even if he has to catch a lot of it. If it was Jordan Mason going up against the New England Patriots, they are going to get shut down to a point where it's like they're going to have to go through one way to try and stay in the game. They're not dynamic enough. So it just depends on the player and the offense entirely.
So what if Bucky's not back and it's Rashad White?
Yeah, I would say Rashad White's used enough in the receiving game that he'll be okay, but I think he'll have a lesser game, sure. Because Rashad White's no Bucky.
All right. And I was going to ask quick on that team we talked about a few weeks back where I had all the receivers where I can just rotate them for the bye weeks and stuff. I'm going to have guys like ETN, Judkins, Hendy on my bench every week because I have 3 good receivers and Henry and Dowdle. Would you still just ride it out, or would you try to make a trade, like if I can get a Bijan or something?
I'm always trying to upgrade, almost always. Sometimes the bye week stuff is nice to have that rotation going through, but we're also deeper into the season than that, or deeper into that. So I don't know.
Right.
I'd definitely try to upgrade my team. But right now you're trying to smartly navigate into players that have already had their bye. Judkins, Odunze, Jacobs. These are all players that are cheaper that have already had their bye. So you can actually maneuver in a very advantageous way, consolidating, but also getting rid of the bye week. Then you don't need the extra player for the bye. So go after Jacobs, go after Egbuka. A lot of players have some doubt right now. JJ. People are doubting JJ like crazy. You could get JJ so cheap right now. And kind of rightfully so. There's concern that he's going to be used quite the same this year, that he might just be an 8 to 12 wide receiver the rest of the year with a couple big games. But, I mean, he does not feel like JJ. He feels like he's got one hand handcuffed behind his back. But I definitely still believe in him and buy him at the right price. All right, hold on one second, Travis. Hold on one second. All right, a guy called me a ripoff and said I was trying to rob him for even offering Bucky for JJ. Well, then don't trade him Bucky. But maybe he's thinking about, the injury. I don't know. And if he doesn't think Bucky's good, then he doesn't think Bucky's good. But 12-man traded BTJ for Hendy. Smitty approved. Absolutely. I'd take Hendy right now over BTJ. BTJ is a big disappointment. Could he bounce back? It's possible. Would I take BTJ off waivers if someone cut him? Yes. Would I trade for him if someone was asking for a backup tight end that I didn't use? Yes. Would I be optimistic about that? Sure. If I could get him thrown into a deal practically for free, would I? Yes. Do I have high expectations for him? No. Henry owner has Vidal and Chase Brown. Offered my Monangai and any three if he says no to Henry. Trying to sell Monangai high while I can. Be careful not to get rid of him, though, because he's still going to have a role no matter what. And I really like him. But I would try and get into Derrick Henry if you're able to. But I don't know if so Monangai and for any three. So Monangai for Chase. Don't trade for Vidal. Is that what he's saying? Owner has Vidal and Chase. Do not offer him Monangai for Vidal. I do take that down immediately. If you said that. No, I'm saying don't cut him. I'm not saying go get him. I'm saying don't cut him. Monangai's worth 3 times what Vidal's worth. And Monangai is probably, in some people's minds, maybe better than Chase Brown. But I would probably take Chase Brown, personally. And Henry, I'd take over all of them, individually. Just because I think there's a lot of upside. There's some risk as well, but there's a lot of upside. But do not sell Monangai for Vidal. Do not even come close to doing that. Please, Husseini. I don't know if I got that wrong. And then Danny's final super chat, then back to Travis real quickly. 4-4 lost this week. Trades, JD5, Genty, Harvey, Bucky, Buka, Pickens, McBride, Sharps, Fannin Jr. Trade McBride for a piece. I'd trade McBride, but be careful because he's not exactly a guy you can sell super high. So make sure you're going after like James Cook and you're using McBride and Juwan Jennings or McBride and Sharps or McBride and Fannin Jr. Or I'm sorry, you keep it Fannin Jr. McBride and like I'm not throwing in Genty or Pickens or Harvey or Bucky or doing anything crazy like that or treating Pickens like he's trash all of a sudden. Would I try and move McBride and let's call it Sharps for one wide receiver? Sure. McBride for JJ, McBride for Nico, McBride for Buka. And you just give up a Sharps, you give up a Travis Hunter. I'm fine with any of those. Juwan Jennings, those would be fantastic. And then worldwide, appreciate you. How do you feel about Christian Watson? I don't have much of a positive outlook on Watson. He's always injured, coming back from injury. Odds of him staying healthy at a high volume seems unlikely to me. Where it's going to be like the guy can't stay healthy, he's going to be out for the season for something. If they overwork him.
Do you think he's their number one though? You know, and granted, it's impossible. They spread it around too much, but would you say he's still their number one wide receiver, or is Dubs it now because he's been more consistent?
Yeah, I don't think I would call Watson their number one. He had 58 yards last week. He had 85 the week prior. He has no touchdowns. Dobbs gets touchdowns. Dobbs has been very steady. I think that he could be their number one. He's maybe their most talented after Jaden Reed. But I don't think he's their number one. No, not yet anyway. And again, if they fed him that way, I think he gets hurt. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge. I like Watson's talent, but I'm not a believer anymore. This is kind of like, just one too many injuries. And when you come back from injuries, and remember, he had one of his thighs was 30% smaller than the other, which caused all these hamstring injuries. And the problem is, like, you can drive your car. You could do something to your vehicle. Like, let's say so a good example would be 30%, your one thigh is 30% smaller than your other. That's essentially like this. And that's insane. And the fact that you're off kilter for so long, when you eventually fix it, how much damage have you done? Like, and so I feel like his body's just, I don't know. I feel like his body's just not going to hold up. But I definitely pick him up if I need a receiver. I'm just not counting on anything. Water says, Smitty, you got me the win with the Harvey over Aaron Jones. Attaboy. Appreciate you. And then Husseini says, Henry owner said he wants Monangai, Woody for Henry. Do it. Monangai and Woody marks for Henry. Smash it. Husseini, please tell me you get that done tonight. I can't wait to see the message. Anything can happen. Like, I don't want you to think Monangai can't be amazing. There is a world where Monangai is better than Derrick Henry. That world does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't, but everything's a gamble. I'm taking the gamble that Derrick Henry is worth more than Monangai. Monangai is going to be facing a split with DeAndre Swift. No doubt about it. There's no way Swift goes to the bench, but there's no way Swift takes over all the work. They're going to be Monty and Gibbs, but that will dilute Monangai down. And the moment Monangai has 40 yards, everyone's going to be pissed at him, like everyone's so fickle. But give me Derrick Henry. I like that move a lot. Last super chat, then over to DJ, and then back to Travis, unless Travis has something real quick. But he's just one of those guys that wants something good without giving up something good in return. Yeah, you're just gonna have to. You're probably not gonna trade with that person. I play with people like that, obviously, all the years I've done this, and there's just some people I just stopped making offers to. They're never gonna trade. They're just not. They want to rake you over the coals. And you don't want to get in a position where you're just to get it done and finally get a trade with him. You end up giving more. Just walk away from it. DJ, you're live.
Best show on the planet. Just real quick, revisiting tonight's game. MHJ, again, with what he did last year with Tyler at quarterback, I mean, you could see if we have a QB there in AZ, to get him the ball, he'd be a monster. Kind of already is. From a fantasy standpoint, I buy him. Definitely in Dynasty, obviously. CD and Pickens. Do we think that Dallas is going to re-sign Pickens long term?
Look, this is going to be the biggest controversial, dragged out thing that we just don't know. How's it gonna go? Are they gonna franchise tag him? What's his contract? He's in a contract year, so yeah, that he'd be franchise tagged. So I don't know.
He holds out if they do.
Yeah, if they don't tag him, then he'll get a fat deal. But this is going to be one of those things where it's a mess all offseason. George Pickens is not going to give them a hometown discount. He's let's see here, 2025. Yeah, 2025. Yeah, so he was in his contract year. Here's his contract. It was surprising enough that the George Pickens didn't want a deal when that trade was struck, because 90% of the time, maybe more than 90% of the time, when a big name player is traded, they get a contract extension that exact moment in unison with the trade announcement, because the team wouldn't give up draft capital for a player they're renting for a year. So this was actually very head scratching that Dallas didn't want to sign him. And it was even more head scratching that Pickens didn't demand if they trade him. But I think what it was is Pickens had his agent probably whisper in his ear. This is kind of what I gather anyway. Hey, the Pittsburgh Steelers want to trade you. It's kind of tough to imagine this happening again if we blow this. So are you okay with being traded without a contract, playing the year out? Because if you say no, you're going to be stuck here in Pittsburgh without a contract. And so he probably said, get me with Dak. I'll go do what I do, bank on myself. And to be honest, it might have been a brilliant move. Because if Pickens can keep playing some level what he's been playing, because he's been a top 10 wide receiver, he's going to get paid bank. Someone like New England's going to come in and offer him the world. He's going to get paid bank. So it worked out brilliantly. The only thing is if they franchise tag him, it's going to be a mess. But he's an unrestricted free agent walking into this upcoming season unless he gets tagged. I don't think Dallas is going to – they'll tag him and drag it out because Jerry doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he wants to penny pinch. He doesn't want to work with agents. He doesn't want to do any of that. There's no simplicity, no simple deal getting ironed out. So he either gets to play somewhere else on a fat contract, or he's going to get tagged and it's going to get dragged out.
Yeah, I see that happening because I had to look because I had assumed he had a contract, but I was like, wait a minute, let me look. He does,
but it's the last year. It's the last year. It's a four-year deal.
So yeah, that makes sense. He should get paid. It's a good play. I mean, landing in Dallas with that offense.
He should get paid, but are they going to tag him? Are they going to tag him? Yeah. And then when they tag him, they're going to drag it out, and then he's going to get injured.
And it'll be an S show, per usual, with Jerry at the forefront. The Watson, and you were talking about the 30% in the leg, that's kind of like how we see these athletes when they're coming back from an injury, how they overcompensate. So, creating even some other injuries or re-injuring, so when you think about it, with Watson, he's probably going to get injured again. And he's not a number one receiver, just my opinion.
I think he could have been. There's a point where he was good enough to be, but that progression kind of dies out. Like you if you don't become something in a fast enough amount of time, then in some ways you lose.
Yeah, he beat boom bust, and he's good though. I mean, if he could stay healthy, but I think Dobbs is that guy there, and you said it, man, especially in the red zone. He is Love's guy, and he's just a snap percentage, target percentage animal there. Herbert and Baker, I could be biased, and I think you're right. Herbert is kind of robotic in a lot of senses, but he's running the ball, and at the top of the year, I was hoping he'd be doing a little bit of that. But yeah, in terms of just consistency and Baker, he's just he's balling. But I would give the hedge to Herbert just because I think he's capable of putting up more rushing yards, which he's starting to do a little bit more of. Yeah, that's it, gentlemen. Best show on the planet, man.
Appreciate you. Later.
Yeah, later.
So I see a lot of the chatter in the comments where people are wanting to know if there's any Bucky updates. There's nothing on Bucky. There's reports. There's Bucky put an Instagram post up, a story post where he isn't wearing his sling or his arm brace or anything. And then there's people spreading around this graphic. I know you guys wanted me to address it, where a fan messages him and says, "Bucky, you coming back this week?" And it was on October 22nd. And with AI and Photoshop and stuff, like, I don't know. And I'm looking at the sizing of it just to see if I think it's real. First of all, I don't think it is. Let me just see real quickly. Let me go into I don't even think it's not even the right. I don't even think it's the right colors. Let me just see if I can find. I don't even think it's the right colors. It doesn't look real. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It says I'm ready. I don't know. I'm looking at the DM and you can't trust it. But I would say this. It's probably more bad news than good news to not have heard a single thing yet. And the reason I say that, I'm not saying anybody should go give away Bucky for pennies on the dollar, but we should have heard something positive by now, and it could happen tomorrow. Tomorrow would be the day that somebody's going to ask a question and put the Bucs coaching staff in a box. But the last time we were awaiting info, we didn't have anything to go on. And we're just like, what's going on with Bucky? And then somebody goes, is Bucky coming back this week? Bowles would say something like, yeah, this not looking likely for this week. And it's such a distant conversation that it scares you into like, how far off is this? They didn't put him on IR. Did things go awry? Would they have, in retrospect, put him on IR? Probably. But we just kind of in a waiting pattern. I hope Bucky is ready. I hope that we get good news tomorrow. We might. I don't think anybody should get rid of Bucky for pennies on the dollar, but I think this is too very vague and unaddressed for me to feel good enough to say if someone offered you Dowdle for Bucky right now, you take it. If someone offered you Derrick Henry for Bucky right now, you take it. Someone offered you Saquon Barkley for Bucky, even if you had to throw in something small, you just take it. And then if let's say things work out well, the next hour, Bucky, he's back, he's going to return. That's great news, and it might work out for both of you. You're doing a trade. You never should do a trade that if the player you're doubting does end up doing well, you regret the trade. Example, Christian McCaffrey. If you trade Christian McCaffrey right now and you get Dowdle and let's say Jamar Chase, like you get something like that, or let's say you got Dowdle and Lamb right now for CMC, Lamb C, you would be fine if Christian McCaffrey continued to play well all year because you're getting two pieces you love. If Christian McCaffrey doesn't get hurt, you want the worst case scenario to be you both make out in the trade. If you can't say that, you made a bad Christian McCaffrey trade. And you have only yourself to blame. Now, if Christian McCaffrey tanks and you get these two players, that's unbelievable. But you must make a trade, even for Bucky. If you're trading Bucky and Bucky ends up coming back the hour after you trade him and he blows up all year, you better be happy with Derrick Henry or you shouldn't have made the trade. You better be happy with getting Josh Jacobs and potentially Ladd or something, and you end up filling that wide receiver spot, and you're happy you made the trade. If you go, oh, I'm going to go trade Bucky, I'm going to get Manungai, and all right, I found another name I can't speak and write at the same time, Manungai. If you're trading Bucky for Manungai and some, bogus wide receiver 3, and then Bucky ends up coming back and you're mad, you made the wrong Bucky trade. I mean, plain and simple. It's that easy. And for whatever reason, people that have Christian McCaffrey and they hear that and are like, hey, we're going to trade Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, you should want to trade anybody. Bijan, Christian McCaffrey, Gibbs. If someone gives you an offer you can't refuse, you make the trade. But if it's not an offer you can't refuse, you don't make it. Bucky Bath for good vibes, says DeBalt. We'll do it on the way out, hopefully, but I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to until we get good word. I don't know if I want to jinx it, DeBalt, to be honest with you. Guy offered Tez for BTJ. No. I'd rather have BTJ as like a trade piece or something, versus getting what's Tez done to warrant that? Benson on waivers, drop JCM, Hunter, Downs, or Mason. I'd probably drop JCM or Downs for him. I like Downs a little bit. I'm dropping JCM. What good is JCM going to be moving forward? I mean, if you can't do anything, would you?
That's right now.
3-6 today. Trade my CD Lamb, HN, and MHA for Buka and Gibbs. I take Buka and Gibbs in a heartbeat. Easy. It's wild how many people are trading Gibbs right now and Bijan and Lamb. Now Lamb's going to be next. Lamb's a good buy after this week. I'll put that on the board right now. Lamb for sure. Lamb chops for sure. Let's move.
The Bijan thing's crazy too, because he still had 17.5 points. He got plenty of PPR work. And I know he had a down week the week before, but it's nuts how people overreact.
Yeah, these are my week 10 buys right here. Week 10 buys. Lamb and Judkins and Buka and Nico are the top targets. It's going to be crazy how many people want to trade Lamb away. And Gibbs. I'm hesitant to put Gibbs on there because he's such a big name, but I'm starting to realize that Gibbs might need to be on there because I keep seeing it over and over. Do I trade for? People are wondering, should they trade for Gibbs? Should I go get Gibbs doing this deal? Yeah, probably. You don't think it's worth trading for Bucky right now? I didn't say that. I said that if you own him. Now, if you don't have Bucky, absolutely trade for him. Those are two totally different perspectives, Mark. And I could even put trade for Bucky on the board, and I will. I'll do that. It's two totally different things. So we'll put Nico here. I just haven't got to my buy lows yet, but Bucky's certainly on it. Harvey, Bucky, Harvey. I just haven't gotten to my buy lows yet because the week 9 just ended hours ago. But for sure, Bucky is a 100% a great buy. Those are two I'm glad you asked that. The two completely different angles. Just like sell Henry when you had him, you drafted him in the first round. You should have been selling him. And then anybody that doesn't have Henry should have been buying him. You should have never drafted Barkley. And you should have been trying to trade him before the value tanked. But now people that don't have him and didn't draft him should be buying Barkley. I'm not saying that people that bought Bucky should have traded him and that he should have known. I'm just saying if you have Bucky and you can make a trade straight across for a Dowdle, you probably should do it. If you don't have Bucky and somebody's freaking out about Bucky, or news breaks tomorrow that he won't return this week, but maybe has a good shot the next week, and someone's going, I've got 3 wins, Bucky's going to be the best buy low in fantasy. Big difference between those two angles. Travis, anything else?
Yeah, I missed most of the early show. Did you cover what Marvin Harrison Sr. was saying?
We
see that quote?
Go ahead and read it, but we didn't 100%.
Yeah, so first he said, it's very hard for me to watch a Cardinals offense, and you can quote me on that. And then he said, you can put Marvin Harrison Sr. in my prime in Arizona right now, and guess what happens? Canton, Ohio is going to send me a prepaid envelope and say, could you please send that jacket back? And then they target MHJ. Granted, it's Brisett, not Kyler, but just interesting to hear him actually say something about it.
Yeah, we covered it a little bit. I just mentioned that Kyler's, MHJ's dad. You got, Dunze's camp talking about if you're not going to throw to Dunze, trade him to somebody where they'll throw to him. So yeah, we got people advocating for them getting the ball, but neither one is getting traded or anything. But yeah, I don't know, man. But it's funny because when we went live for 26 straight minutes, I kept saying, this is the Cardinals. Ganon's going to fail you. The Cardinals are going to fail you. 26 minutes into the live stream, Ganon drops this quote right here. Nothing has changed in regards to Brisett starting over Kyler and Kyler being the starter. I mean, Ganon's incompetent. He's incompetent. Absolutely incompetent. FU said I missed his super chat. Barely getting any moves. Barely getting by any moves. Mahomes, Bijan, Gibbs, Adunze, MHJ, Laporta, Downs, bench, Spears, Fannin. I mean, it's you got a good team. If I was trying to move anything, I'm not moving Mahomes, not moving Bijan, not moving Gibbs. You got a freaking 3-headed monster right there. You can win with this team because you're so strong at that tripod level. And Adunze I like, and I'm probably trying to move Laporta, start Fannin. I'm moving Laporta off the big game, and I'm moving MHJ off the big game, and I'm getting 1 Nico, 1 JJ, 1 Adams, 1 Buka, 1 London's off the table now. You could do it in crafty fashion and trade MHJ for Pickens, or Laporta for Pickens, and then trade the other for Ladd or something like that. I'd trade MHJ and Laporta for, if you could start 3 running backs. I'm crazy, bro. I'm okay stacking and then trying to rotate the wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 position with the Dunze. If I'm getting like a big name running back and I can start a 3rd running back, I would trade MHJ and Laporta for the running back. If I can't get the value of wide receiver, fill my flex spot and then just go, I'll put Downs in the wide receiver 2 spot. I'd grab another wide receiver, put in the 3. If you only need to start 2 wide receivers, I'm plenty fine putting Downs in there if I'm moving a Barkley or a Henry or somebody into the running back 3 spot. So don't be afraid to stack it weird, and who cares what your wide receiver 2 and 3 look like. If you're doing smart moves and plays, you might be able to fill it better than you think. But I think MHJ and Laporta are the very, very best trades right now for you, and it's the only way to go. But I would definitely move both of them and put Fannin in the lineup. That would be my advice. All right, Travis, what else you got? And then I'm probably going to call it here.
Yeah, just a couple quick things. Trevor was asking if you got his super chat. You might have just missed it. He was asking about Achane for Judkins and ETN. He already has Cook, Harvey, and Marks too.
Trevor, why did somebody? I might have these on a screen somewhere. This is starting to sound like there's 2 in a row. I must have put these on a screen somewhere. Hold on.
Not
Not this
a rags to riches player, a player that can go from a flex or running back 3 or running
that one that video. I actually didn't mean to play that this time. Now it's stuck in a random, like when I hit Breece Hall used to be the button that I'd hit. I'd hit some button like switching scenes, and the Breece Hall is 8 feet tall would always play. And now that's the one stuck in this random loop. I don't know how okay, let me see. Where did those questions go? I don't know. Okay, Trevor, trade Achane for Judkins and ETN. I would rather have you have Cook and RJ and Mark. So you have Cook and Achane. I don't know. That's pretty tough because Achane's like in a bad spot, but he keeps producing.
I was going to say, I would almost just go grab Ollie to cuff him if you have room. Roll with Achane. But
yeah, I mean, ETN looked good, but he also, I don't know. I'm a lot worried about the Jaguars right now.
Yeah, and if you get ETN, you got to find a way to get Tootin too if you want to be safe with that backfield. So
yeah.
Those kind of factor in.
Chat, would you rather have Achane and you have Cook and you have RJ? So, like, you could have a dilemma where you can't even use ETN later. Would you rather have Achane and then you got Cook and RJ on your bench? Or, I'm sorry, in your lineup. Or Cook in your lineup and be RJ in the flex or a flex consideration? Or would you rather trade Achane out for Judkins and ETN and then have Cook and RJ? That old school video is going to be a special sponsorship. That's going to be like a $200 hauler when someone does it. They can sponsor that video. And trigger it whenever they want with any $20 hauler they want. Trade Achane. I'd probably say Achane for me.
He's the RB3.
Yeah, I'd probably say Achane, Trevor. I mean, ETN is kind of an unknown. Now he wants to do Monungai and Woody and Nix for my Henry and Caleb. Why does he keep changing it? This guy's driving me nuts, man. Oh, so you go back to him and he's like, now I want more. So Caleb will be your starter. I don't like hitching my wagon to Caleb, but I would say I still think this is a good trade for you. And then I'm trying to move Caleb. Hopefully you've got another quarterback opportunity just in case. But yeah, Husseini, I'd probably do it. And I think Caleb's I think people will trade for him. I mean, they won't go out of their way, but I mean, if you're throwing him in to a deal, what's honestly Olave's value right now? I don't think you're getting anything crazy. You'd be lucky to get a Monty. You'd be lucky to get a you're not getting an ETN. You could get a...
Yeah, because Chuck messed that up because, he was getting 10 targets a week before this week.
Maybe Pickens.
So the week before you could sit on that.
Pickens or Devontae Smith if you catch someone sleeping. Addison maybe. Waddle probably not. Adunze if you get lucky. I think your best bet is to couple him with something small to get in Adunze and get out of it. I think Adunze would be a great replacement. Trade Wilson and Njoku Judkins for Bucky and McBride. Trade Wilson and Njoku Judkins for Bucky and McBride. Damn, man. I'm probably going to say give me Judkins, Wilson. Well, that's the thing is
there news on Wilson? Wilson's supposed to be back this week.
Yeah, he should be. He's back in practice. It's tough. I would say you're probably better off with the Wilson and Judkins, but if Bucky's back this week, if that news breaks tomorrow and you've already made the trade, you could be upset. But then again, it's like, do you trust McBride in Arizona? I mean, I think he'll do well, but will he be consistent? I don't know. I'd probably take Garrett Wilson and Judkins, but Really, really close, Mark. Really close. H13, offer Flowers and Addison for Olave. I'm not interested in none of those guys. Maybe Addison is the one I like the most, so I'm going to say Flowers, Addison, in hopes that Flowers gets revived. I don't want Olave. What about Barkley and Downs for Gibbs? I take Gibbs in a heartbeat. Already have Monty. Not sure if you answered my previous super chat. Why is everyone saying I'm not? I don't understand what. H13. Didn't I answer this one? QB Baker, Stafford. Yeah, I did. I answered that one. You told me you lost 2 in a row. QB Baker, Stafford. Yeah. I think I said MHJ to upgrade. Maybe Chase Brown if you can. Just to get a monster, or you're just trading MHJ. MHJ and Kelsey for something works. MHJ and I like your team. I would maybe say MHJ. Try MHJ and Kelsey for go rogue at the tight end position and try and just get some slight wide receiver upgrade. We're talking Buka, Nico. I don't know. I'd rather have Pickens over MHJ.
Yeah, you got to still. We saw, 1 week with Brisett against the Cowboys, and he ticked back up. So we got to see a couple more weeks.
Falling to 4 and 5. What am I doing wrong? Or Darnold, Rice, Nico, Ladd, Javonte, Gibbs. Stay the course, man. Your team's really good. Gibbs and Javonte lost me my week. Well, they'll win you the week next week, Rudy. That's an unbelievable team. You probably sat Darnold. You said, what am I doing wrong? I highly doubt you started Darnold and won, right? But Dart did well, too. Darnold, Rice, Nico. This will come together, bro. I'm not even sweating this at all. This is a really good team. If you don't make the playoffs, I'd be shocked. Just keep starting your studs. Don't get crafty or cute. Javonte and Gibbs. You could maybe move Ladd and Etienne or Javonte and Ladd for one bigger monster. You could move.
Would you move Javonte and Etienne to get Bijan, or is that too much?
No, I'd definitely do that. I would give up one of the quarterbacks if I needed to, if it's a 1 QB league.
Yep.
I'd trade McBride and Etienne for Bijan or something like that if I had
Thinking
to.
if he could grab Bijan and have Bijan and Gibbs, Rice and Nico.
I don't think it's trading Bijan. Well, you could try.
Probably not. I've been seeing Bijan traded a lot. That's all.
Ladd and Etienne for JJ. Ladd and Etienne for Jacobs or Kyron or Achan or something like that, Rudy. And then James in the super chat traded London and K9 for Daniel Jones and Waddle last week. What do you think? I think it could work out either way. I think Waddle's pretty nice. I don't hate that. But it doesn't make me excited in my jumping for joy. Not really, but I don't hate it. I'm not sending you on a lap or anything. Smitty, 8-1. Nice work. Not a lot of 8-1 teams out there. 14-man, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 QB. Lamar, Barkley, Bucky, Hendy, Woody, Pickens, Debo, Keenan, Parker, Washington, Travis Hunter. How to grab Gibbs or Achan? Bucky has to be involved. I wouldn't send Barkley packing. I think I'd just take him off the bye week and play Lamar and Barkley. I don't move. I don't think does Bucky and Debo get you Achan or Gibbs? Maybe, but probably not. Try Keenan Allen. I'd throw Keenan Allen and Parker Washington. I'd throw in. I think it's the only chance you have. And would I trade Barkley for Gibbs? Yes. Do I think Barkley can hang with Achan? I kind of do for the rest of the season, but I think the reason why I'm even hesitant there, I probably would take Achan for Barkley straight up, but the problem is I don't think he'd do that, and I don't want you. I guess I would trade Barkley for Barkley and Parker, Barkley and Debo, Barkley and Keenan for Achan, I suppose. I definitely would do that for Gibbs, and I give up more. So I shouldn't say I wouldn't give up those guys. I just mean unless you're getting Gibbs or Achane, I'm not giving them up. But if you could get Gibbs or Achane without giving them up, it would take Bucky and Woody and maybe like Keenan Allen or Debo, and I'd do that if you could. But to rank them, I'd say Gibbs, Achane, Barkley in that order, and Bucky in that order. Marv or Odunze, I've already said a couple times on the show, not that you're responsible to hear every word that comes out of my mouth. I don't mean it like that. But just to give you the confidence that I've already said I would trade Marv for Odunze. I'd definitely take him. I'd trade Marv for Garrett Wilson. I'd trade Marv for Pickens. Any one of those guys. I'm getting rid of Marv on this value. All right. Travis, anything else?
Just the last thing was, with Odunze, would you still give up a first round, like a late first rounder for him in Dynasty?
A late first rounder for Odunze in Dynasty. I think so. Context kind of matters, but I do really still like Odunze. And I loved Odunze more than almost anyone coming out of college, but I hated his landing spot for the reasons we're seeing right now. But I think he's amazing. And I'd love to see him, I don't know.
That's a good question. AJB for Odunze.
Yeah.
You do that in redraft. Would you rather roll AJB in that situation?
AJB or Odunze?
Yeah.
I want to say AJB because he could outperform. I mean, he could be a top 7 wide receiver, but how healthy is he going to be? What's that look like? He's complaining. He's in diva mode. I mean, I'd probably say I think I could get a lot more in trade for him for AJB, but I just don't know. Let me pull up the latest on AJB right now, too.
So the official deadline's tomorrow at 4 p.m., right? Or Tuesday at 4?
17th, I think that's right.
Look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what AJB's status is right now. I think it's a risk. It's a risk, but it might be worth taking.
Yeah.
But trading or not trading, just whatever side you're on, Odunze or AJB, there's risk on both sides. At least Odunze's got the bye week out of the way, but it's almost like he was on a bye last week anyway. He didn't even get the ball.
Oh.
I don't know. I do think they rotate. They move it around.
Yeah, and I think another big part of it was just how poorly Cincy is against the tight end, where it just funnels to the tight end against them.
Yeah. All right,
They're going
Travis.
to be inconsistent.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Smitty.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah. Anybody? The first $200 hauler gets a sponsor and control the vintage clip.
Someone asked me today, what player comes to mind as far as like a rags to riches player, a player that can go from a flex or running back 3 or running back 4 type of area all the way up to being a top 5 to 10 running back moving forward. And the one player that comes to mind is Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry had that appeal heading into the 2018 fantasy football season until the Tennessee Titans acquired Deion Lewis. And I think that everybody's kind of forgetting the upside that he has if he's getting starter carries. Now,
Take a breath,
will he?
Smitty.
It's tough to say. That's what makes him kind of a risk in entering the next few weeks. But I think that of any player in the entire league, he is one guy I would not drop or recommend dropping in redraft.
When my balls drop. Someday, somebody asked me, the 4 followers that are watching, one of them might have, they didn't actually ask, but they could have. I think they wanted to ask me, who's my biggest rag? Everybody's waiting. Everyone's waiting. There's a line out the door of people that want to know who my rags to riches player is. It's just, All right. I think we're out of here. I'll see you all tomorrow. We'll probably do some sort of buy low. As you know, this is the buy low list here on the board. Right side is week 10. Left side's week 9. Although some of the week 9 guys can still carry over. I still like buying Benson. I'd still be interested in Toot and ETN. Obviously, Hendy carried over. Nico carried over. Harvey has a successful check mark, but also still carries over. And a lot of rags to riches, but Harvey could be. I know a lot of people ask me. A lot of people have been waiting to ask me who my rags to riches player is on this board. I'd probably say Harvey has the chance. Harvey and Hendy have the chance to be rags to riches players. And later on, I'll play this clip for everybody, and you'll see. You'll see. All right, see you all later. Appreciate you. Live whenever news breaks. Live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. See you all later. Bye. Everybody's asking me when I'm going to end the show, and I'm going to end it right now. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you, Husseini, dropping the $20 hauler. Ross Wong with the $20 hauler. See you all tomorrow. I should have more Bucky news. If there's a, by the way, real quickly, if there's any sort of trade tonight, you be sure to come right back here, and we'll be live. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. And then second of all, make sure you get on over to the live chat Patreon. If there's any trade stuff, our Patreon, we'll be talking about it and posting it. So even if you just want to be on top of the news when it happens, this is the best place to do it all. Pin it on the way out the door. I mean, this Patreon group is the Shiat. And I'm telling you, if you're not in this group, you're not getting breaking news. You're not getting one-on-one advice from this amazing community. So get on over there and do it. See you all later. Appreciate you.
Someone asked me today, what player comes to mind as far as like a rags to riches player comes to mind? Someone asked me today, what, someone asked me today, someone asked me today, what player comes to mind as far as like a rags to riches player, a player that can go from a flex or running back 3 or running back 4 type of area all the way up to being a top 5 to 10 running back moving forward. And the one player that comes to mind is Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry had that.
Dose.